That's right, sir. Old Bus. To minimize the impertinence his tone gave the nickname, inverted commas. He's not one for lager either. Just now you said your lordship. Beg pardon, sir. You have done nothing wrong. Thank you, sir. But why two names? Oh, I see, sir. I only meant among ourselves, of course. We call him the Old Bus. Just the same as everyone. Catch the bus and you're all right. No complaints of him once you get past Miss Oleron. Jenny, chattered Ben. Then after a long pause in a voice not his own. That bitch Jenny Oleron. As you say, sir. Peddle's tone was flat, but his face expressive. But already Ben's thoughts had veered again as he fingered the tall glass the chauffeur had put in his hand. Drink two, commanded Ben. Beg pardon, no more lager, sir. Then what is this? Ben shook round the yellow liquid from his glass. Rye, sir. Can't find any scotch. At that, a picture flickered across the retina of Ben's mind, not very clear, for it was among the earliest of his memories, but dimly he saw a grey rippling field. The vision passed, but left him saying decidedly, I drink the rye, and you too. You drink it. Very good, sir. And with docile alacrity, Call me Ray, who had known intimately the humours of many strange masters, poured himself out a stiff one and drank, though it embarrassed him to notice how closely the rum beggars opposite matched his movements, lifting his glass at the same moment, putting it to his lips at the same moment, drinking when he drank, then setting down the glass, again, with Ray's own personal gesture of enjoyment. Was he being made fun of? Then the rye got to work with the flat lager on the otherwise empty stomach of Mr. Peddle, and he began to be impudent. Another, sir? Oh, come on. Yes. Again, they filled and emptied the tumblers. Then, unprompted, Raymond Peddle helped himself to a third, and as he sipped his adventure, lost its danger and became humorously familiar. He stretched out his hand across the table. Nice blue ring you got there, sir. Instantly he knew he had gone too far, and as the hand was snatched away, he waited, resigned for abuse. But again, the incalculable visitor disappointed him. Angry Ben was, but not about a matter that Mr. Peddle himself hopefully attempted to forget. Tell me why. There was in the roaring voice the note which Raymond Peddle feared and itched to hear. Is the box open? What are these papers? They are not your papers. Ben rose as he spoke. It seemed to Peddle that he would never stop rising, and towered once more over the unfortunate chauffeur, who, bemused by whiskey and the whole extraordinary interview, had no defence ready. The papers, sir? Well, you see, it's like this. Are they yours? Well, not what you'd call mine, sir, no, but Miss Oleron, you see, she ordered me to put up here for the night, and... But it was the other. It was Bothering, so you said. It's always Lord Bothering, sir, normal, but I take my orders from Miss Oleron. And when they carried the poor lady out to the car, and they had to take the little girl along, of course, in the other car, there was no room for me, and so, what with no men in the village to take charge... The gardener, Ben said hastily. He's dead, sir. Didn't you know? He was in the tool shed. Ben stared, his lips parted. His eyes, to the frightened fancy of the disordered Mr. Peddle, sparked like a cat's fur in the dark. The gardener? Also gone? Fraid so, sir. Direct hit. Awful, ain't it? So Miss Oleron, rather than leave the place empty, she left me behind. I'm to be picked up in the morning, but I could have walked to the station easy. And I said to myself, there's nothing in the house. Madam wore paste. We all know that. So why is our Jenny that keen to have the house looked after unless it's letters? Letters? Oh, well, sir, his lordship and the poor lady, it was before my time, but it was common knowledge, so I thought there was bound to be letters, so why not be in on it first? Ben continued to stare at him, and Mr. Peddle's voice lifted hysterically. Only to hand over to Miss Oleron, sir. What else, sir? I wouldn't want to lose my job. He ceased breathing heavily and stayed half risen, looking upward from bent shoulders with his hand on the glass and his other hand spurning the telltale letter, held in motionless discomfort by the other's look. The contemplation was thorough. From oiled head to polished boots, Ben surveyed him, then, without emotion, spoke. "Make me look as you look." "Beg pardon, sir?" "Make me look as you look." "I don't understand, sir." Then terror restored wits to young Raymond Peddle. "Do you mean I'm to brush you down?" For answer, Ben picked up the papers on the table and began to read them, holding them far away. Peddle regarded him wistfully, sighed, hesitated, then, stumbling only a little, went through to the kitchen. It did not occur to him to escape through the kitchen, though the kitchen door stood open, for already the spell which Ben exercised on his chosen had begun to work. On all his chosen had begun to work. Half drunk and quarter intimidated, the other quarter of Ray Peddle's being was already enjoying the delicate sweets of slavery. So he searched the too-empty house for cloth brush, comb, and shoe polish. Returning to the living room, he began humbly to rub up old George's sturdy shoes, shook the mackintosh into folds behind the belt, and, greatly daring, removed the hat, smoothed the wild head, then stood back, swaying a little bit satisfied. "There now! There, sir, now you look yourself." White Ben gave him no answer. His hands closed over the papers. Shuffling them into his pocket, he crossed the room to the door. At the top of the 3 steps, he turned and gave Raymond once more his stiff, difficult smile. "I shall see you again," said White Ben. He stalked out, banging the door behind him. The house shook. Raymond Peddle took a step after him, thought better of it, hesitated, then went to the table, poured out and tossed down a 4th, a neat whiskey. He did not know what had happened to him. He had seen dead bodies, one unforgettably mangled. He was alone in a ghostly house. He had been detected in theft. He had found a master and lost him again. So what was he to do now? In sheer misery at his own ineffectiveness and sentimentality overwhelmed him. By Ben's last look at him, young Raymond Peddle hiccoughed once or twice, looked wildly about him, then, putting his arms down upon the table and his head on his arms, relieved his bewilderment by beginning to sob as if his heart or wits were broken. And that's the end of chapter 5.